Hi everyone, and thank you for tuning into this video. This one's a video of a bit of difference. It's going to be talking about the crash helmet that saved my life. Now I know I've shown you it in other videos. What I'm going to do now is I'll show it again in a bit and explain why it is the way it is. So let's start with that. Let's have a beer first. I'll try not to make this too long. Right, so here it is. One of my early crash helmets. You can see it's a K-Berg. The one with the little button where you can flip up the lid. Oh, it doesn't work too well now. It's quite badly damaged, as you can see. And obviously the visor. And inside it's got the what's left of. I think the little lever's gone now. I think it's broken off. There it is there, but that's broke off. But anyway, it's got it did have an internal visor. You can see there's not much left of it, and I don't know if you can see. I've not really cleaned it for obvious reasons. One of them being that I've never used it since the incident. But you can still see there's some blood splatters. Can you see any there? Yeah, these blood splatters. That's the least of it. But anyway, so let's talk about why this crash helmet saved my life and what happened. Now, in a lot of my vlogs, I'll tell you that I've never come off a road bike. I used to do motocross, and I'd come off twice, I think, on the motocrosser. Once onto one of those poles that holds the tape for the outside of the track, but that's a long time ago. But on the road, never come off. This was the closest that I had to coming off. Now it was 2007. 2007. This was quite a good crash helmet then. I liked it because you could lift it up, and I used to smoke, so you know, whatever works. So I was leaving work down in Solihull at the time to come back up north, and everything was fine. I'd stopped over and I had panniers on the Stealth Hayabusa. I was on the all black limited edition Stealth. You'll see if you look at my France video, little snippet, you'll see me there doing a very steady 30 miles an hour. Not. But anyway, that was the bike I was on, and riding home, and I got to the junction of the M42. For those people in the UK know what I'm talking about, but basically it's where two freeways, whatever you want to call it in your country, two large motorways, freeways, come together, and it ends up with about 7 lanes of traffic. Now, I was behaving, and I was doing pretty much bang on 70 miles an hour, right at the point where there's about 7 lanes. And it was the strangest thing. I was just riding along, and I just sort of caught at the corner of my eye, kind of about, must have been about 2 o'clock in the sky, a little dot, and I thought it's like a leaf or something, because it didn't really kind of move, it just sort of hung there, and then the next thing I know, bang, something hit my crash helmet and destroyed the front end, smashed it to bits, as you can see. And the next thing that happened was all this blood spurted inside the crash helmet, all on this side, where you can see where it hit. I think you can probably see where it actually hit, right there. I don't know how good the light is, but you can probably see that's the point of impact. And that hit there, which was roughly about where my eye was. Anyway, needless to say, all this blood spurted out of the crash helmet, and I was instantly blinded this side with all the blood. Now at this point I had no idea what sort of state my face. I didn't know if it had buried into my skull. I thought maybe this was my last couple of seconds before I checked out. No idea what was going on. Anyway, a couple of seconds passed, still couldn't see anything here, and I was still alive, and I was still on the bike. I hadn't come off. And I obviously I thought that was it, I was a goner. Now, because I had to get off the motorway at this point, I was doing about 70 miles an hour, as I said. So luckily I was on the Hayabusa, because I couldn't look in my mirror because I was just totally blinded by all this blood everywhere. but I could just make out some stuff out of this eye, and I could see that there was a gap that if I accelerated hard, I wouldn't have to worry about stuff coming up behind me on a higher bus. That's where power comes in handy. And I saw a line that could get me to the hard shoulder, so I just dropped it and flew off. God knows what it looked like, all that going on. But anyway, I made it across and into the hard shoulder, and as soon as I got to the hard shoulder, stopped the bike on the side stand, got off, and there's just blood everywhere. So I pulled off the crash helmet, and I had one of those neck protectors. It was sort of like winter-ish time. I had one of these neck protector things on, so I used that, took that off, and then used that to pad, whatever you want to call it. What do you call it, Vicky, on this?
Compression bandage.
Compression bandage. A compression bandage, which I held there, and there was just blood everywhere. I couldn't believe how much blood, but when I put it up on my head, I thought, well, actually there's quite a bit of my head still there, which was a good thing. The next thing I thought was going to happen, I was going to pass out, and I didn't want to pass out on the hard shoulder of a motorway. So I was trying to flag down, I know you shouldn't, but there was no way of me getting over the barrier, because where I'd stopped there was a bridge down to the next motorway, so I couldn't actually get over the barrier out of the way. So I thought I'd flag someone down, maybe someone spot me before I pass out. Anyway, I didn't pass out, so the next thing I went to my tank bag and got my phone out, and I'm still walking around like this, and I phoned the ambulance, and they tried to pinpoint where I was. I explained to them, but they took a while to get there anyway. In the meantime, a lorry driver spotted something strange going on, and he pulled over behind me, I'm guessing sensibly to protect me, because I had no protection. I couldn't get over the way of the barrier, and I was just obviously on the motorway. So he came over and he sat with me till the ambulance come. Now it took some time, and it finally ended up with being about 2 police cars and 2 ambulances. A paramedic got there first, but he said, oh, you need to go to hospital. And then eventually the ambulance turned up and they sat me in there. Now the police were brilliant. They radioed a motorcycle cop to come and get my bike, obviously my precious Stealth Hayabusa. I do frankly remember him struggling to start the bike, so I was shouting from the ambulance that he had to pull the clutch in and all the rest of it, and unset the alarm, and make sure the side stand was down before he tried to start it and all that. Anyway, finally got it started, and there's me worrying about my bike. So anyway, that aside, I went to, they took me to a hospital because I needed some work doing on the face. The first hospital they took me to, it took me about half an hour before I got assessed. I went straight in, but they, the doctors are busy and everything else. So anyway, this consultant come up, he looked at me eye, and it was like a really bad deep cut right through down to the bone. And he said, we can't do you here, you need to go and see a plastic surgeon. So they hired me a taxi to transfer me to another hospital. I think it's in Birmingham somewhere. I can't remember if it's something Wood or something like that. It's where the army go as well. Anyway, they took me to there in a taxi. That was an interesting drive. Got there, and then I had to wait for the plastic surgeon who had other work to do, obviously more important than me. And eventually I got seen at about 11 o'clock-ish, 10:30. And that whole thing took about another 45 minutes for him to do his work. He had to stitch me all the muscles. Sorry if you're having your tea. He had to stitch the muscles first with internal stitches. He explained what he was doing, and then he stitched up the outside. He's done a really good job.
Let's just have a little close-up of it, and you can see the scar.
Really, of my face?
Yes, darling. Literally,
can you see it?
It's your scar. Yeah.
Can you see what it is yet?
That's not even funny these days.
Oh, no, that's true.
So you can see all along here.
Yes. Anyway, sorry.
That's such a twat.
Oh, I had to do that. Right. Sorry if I made you jump as well. Anyway, yes. That's his scar there now, but it's very well hidden. He's done a brilliant job. So thanks to that plastic surgeon. I can't remember what your name was, but brilliant. And also, once that was done.
And thank you to the nice lorry driver that's...
Yeah, and thank you to the lorry driver, and to the ambulance and the police that come to initially attend to me. Get sat now. Don't take 40 minutes when I'm bleeding to death.
You weren't bleeding to death, darling.
No,
You're being a bit of a drama queen.
I am, yeah. Really? Anyway, so then from there it's fabulous. I got checked out of the hospital, and the police took my bike to their police station and parked it up. Now, when I got there, I said, can I borrow one of your crash helmets, because mine was knackered, so that I could ride it home. I said, I feel fine, I'll be careful putting your helmet on, I won't pull my stitches or anything. And he said, we would lend you a crash helmet, but unfortunately they've all got police written on them, and you're not going home impersonating a police officer. So I had to call the breakdown. I'll try and wrap up this bit very quickly. The breakdown guy came. Now at this time it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and he gets there. He says, "I've never towed a trailer with a bike on before." So I helped him strap the bike on because he wasn't sure how to strap a bike onto a trailer. So we did that, and then we got going. Obviously, I was very tired at this point. I mean, I actually got hit at this point at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, going home in a truck, not driving or having anything to keep me busy. I kind of felt sleepy, so I said I'm going to get a couple of hours. I'm going to try and get a better kip. So anyway, I started dozing off, and all of a sudden, rumble strips, and the flipping guy next to me is half falling asleep, isn't he? So I had to keep him awake all the way till I got home.
Which was where?
Doncaster. So Solihull to Doncaster. I've moved from Doncaster now. I live up near Liverpool now. So there we go. Now, what hit me was one of my questions. Now, I thought at the time it didn't make any sense. It came at about 2 o'clock and just blam, and it was something very solid that hit my crash helmet. Vicky keeps taking Mrs. B keeps taking the piss out of me for saying it was what was it, a pheasant or something? A pheasant.
We saw one of these emergency biker things, you know, daytime TV. We all love it. And there was the emergency paramedics had attended a biker who'd been hit by a pheasant as he was going down a country road.
Yeah, but it wasn't a pheasant, as you can see. That was not a pheasant. Now, you might laugh at this.
It was a pheasant plucker's son.
Yes. Now you might laugh at this, but I thought it must be a meteor. Now that sounds crazy, I know. 1 in a million, whatever. A meteor maybe have done more damage, but it just came out of nowhere, just right from above. And it's like, there was no bridge or anything, by the way. There was nothing above. There's no way someone could have thrown it, because it came from high above, and there was nothing else above me, and I was already on a bridge. So a close inspection of the crash helmet, I was trying to figure out what it was. Now, I don't know if you can see in the light, but there's some like strips of scuffs there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, those strips of scuffs there. Now the only thing that I can think of that would do that, I don't think it would have been a meteor somehow. I think it was part of a brick. Now, if it's a part of a brick, you're probably wondering, well, why is a brick flying through the air? And I think I've sussed out what happened. I think that on the other side of the carriageway was one of those tipper lorries, trucks, whatever you want to call them. And you know, on the rear, because of how heavy they are, they tend to have 2 tyres on each end of the axle. Yeah, and then you've got that little gap in the middle that you see. Now, on building sites, they use tipper lorries a lot. Now, what tends to happen is they will pick up bricks inside that gap between the 2 wheels on one end of the axle or the other. And I think what's happened is he's been going down the motorway, okay, freeway, highway, at about 65 miles an hour, whatever speed they can get up to these days, and the brick has come loose from in between and it's flicked it way up in the air, and that, I think, is what happened. Now, there was no way I could avoid this. As you're probably aware, I've mentioned before, I've never come off and that sort of thing, and I avoid accidents, and I've learned how to avoid accidents by all of my lessons that I've learned all this time. I've been riding for like a gazillion years or whatever you want to call it. And you learn to avoid stuff, you know, that anywhere that you think you've got the right of way, that's the time that you have to be very cautious, because somebody is going to, that's the time when nasty things are going to happen, and you see it all the time on YouTube, as you know. So I basically treat every junction as I don't have the right of way, and I'll slow down and I'll look, and that's what's kept me safe so far. But I couldn't avoid this, and the only thing that saved me was this crash helmet, and that's why I never got rid of it. Now, I don't know how much of the crash helmet contributed to my cut. However, if I hadn't have had this crash helmet, I think I would have lost half my head.
Definitely.
Because I'm guessing the closing speed, I was doing 70, brick probably easily like a similar speed, maybe even 50, but that's still a brick hitting you in the head at 100 miles an hour plus is going to be messy. However, this crash helmet prevented that, and that's why I'm still here today, and that's why I've kept this crash helmet. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a good luck charm, and that's why I'll never get rid of it. Okay, this is the helmet that saved my life. And I suppose that really explains what happened. And that's why I always wear a full face crash helmet, the most protection you possibly can get. And that's why I wear my leathers, and that's why I wear my expensive boots, because they'll stop my feet from being crushed, or my ankle from being crushed, because they're built in such a way that if the bike was to fall on my ankle, there wouldn't be any damage to my foot. Okay,
there might be damage, but it would minimise.
Yeah, they're even designed. They're not even in here, are they? But anyway, they're designed to stop your ankle going so far. I'll show it. You'll see it in another video. But basically, if anyone knows the Puma boots, they've got a little swivel, and it only allows your ankle to bend so far both ways, so that if anything happens, it locks and stops you actually breaking your ankle. Is the idea behind it anyway. And I think they've been well worth the money, because they've all contributed to keep me safe. So anyway, that's the story of the crash helmet that saved my life, and the reason why I'm still here today to tell you this story. And that's why I will now, as the bike's pretty much done now, by the way, with regards here, I've just got downpipes and brakes to do, or header pipes, whatever you want to call them, and then I'm happy. And then it's a bit of Zumba, and you'll find out what that is in another video. So that's what I'm going to be doing, safety videos. That's what I'm going to teach people how to ride, including my lovely wife, Mrs. B, and I'm passionate about it, and I want you all to ride safe. So protect yourselves up as much as you like. If you're not into wearing your protective gear, that's entirely up to you, but I've had too many close shaves to think otherwise, and therefore that's why I wear the full stuff. But good to you, and especially if you're in the hot countries, you kind of can almost understand it. But if you're going to wear that sort of stuff, ride doubly safe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Many thanks for your subscriptions, of course, and everything else is amazing. I look forward to having many more vlogs, chats and funny stuff. There is some more funny stuff to come. Anyway, that's another video. Thanks for watching. End of.
And congratulations, Jim, on your 100th video.
Oh yeah, and congratulations, Jim Payne, on your 100th vlog. And I love the intro as well, by the way. Look and learn. Right, anyway, that's it. Thanks very much for watching. This might get edited because I've probably waffled on far too long now. And there we go. There's something a bit different for you. Hope you found it entertaining. We'll cut some of this at some point, Vicky.
No, we are. I can't be arsed. That'll do. See you all again soon.
See you again. Cheers. Bye.